Hey, if you have been watching my videos for any length of time, you know that I am walking through very publicly the use of generative artificial intelligence for building software in addition to uh, doing things that, just are kind of cool. So I wanted to take a minute because this is going to be the first of probably many divergent videos that goes outside of my Tim Unscripted series, specifically around the BMAT experience or experiments, and let you in on something that I had just done over the weekend in putting polish on another website that I had just launched. And so I'm going to hit play so that this can play through. And I'm going to talk to you a little bit about what's actually happening here. So one of the things that I set up was a website called the Great Inversion, www.greatinvert.com. The reason for that is on my personal blog, www.timdickey.com, all one, Tim Dickey. And it's to serve this particular community that's on the screen right now. So getting the Great Inversion or the Great Invert website up and running, because I wanted to launch on Pi Day, I knew that there were some details that I had left out. There were some things that just did not look clean and polished and really the way that I would hope that they would present. And so what I did is I went full blown YOLO. And by YOLO, I mean this recording is me giving Perplexity Pro in the Comet web browser prompting directions to go into the back end of my WordPress site and automatically update things that I saw that needed to be tweaked, be adjusted just a little bit. And you're watching the recording of me watching this in real time on a Sunday morning. And what is so exciting about this is that this was, number one, very risky, to say the least. Okay. And by the way, I am having Perplexity Pro actually adjust the title for the playbook because it's up there and it's, overlaying on the breadcrumbs, the navigation, and it was gagats. And so it's going through all the steps to create JavaScript in addition to updating the cascading style sheets. And I think there was one other thing that it was doing in the background. And I'm just going to let this run because, this is quite possibly one of the neatest things that I've seen in a long time. Yeah, so custom cascading style sheets as well as the JavaScript. There's also HTML in there under that navigation menu. I had to pull my wife into the office where I record because I was so blown away by what I saw going on. And I was delighted and I was surprised and I was shocked and I was really, and you're seeing this. Look, there's the adjustment right there. You just saw Perplexity Pro make the adjustment to drop the title of the playbook. And there it goes. It's giving us the response of exactly what it did. Exactly what it did. I work in this product development space and I have had many watershed moments just in the last, I want to say probably 3 or 4 months. This by far is one of the most exciting moments that I have had. And believe me, I could point back to the fact that I built my first web app on Friday, that the video is recorded. It's in the queue to drop under that whole BMAT experiment series with, folks, I'm telling you, the evolutionary step that I just saw being taken. And by the way, if I'm late to the Comet party, if I'm late to the, hey, just give it some basic instructions in a very structured environment like WordPress, please forgive me. I work with software development teams and we're doing things that are not nearly as exciting and cool as what I am showing you right now. And I'm saying that not from the standpoint of the work that I get to do is not, okay. I have been on projects where we are very AI focused, AI centric. The outcomes that we have achieved are truly delightful and amazing. And so this is not me throwing shade at the work that I get to do, the fun that I get to have at work on a professional level. This is me solving a problem that you may actually have in a way that really makes sense from the standpoint of the care and feeding of personal websites. And maybe Perplexity, hey, whenever you guys are getting ready for your IPO, call me up because I truly love using your product. It is for me the hardest thing oftentimes to be willing and wanting to get into the back end of my website, whether it be my blog site at timdickey.com or whether it be now the Great Inversion at greatinvert.com, to do some of the routine things, the cosmetic things, the low-hanging fruit, the tedious work. And by the way, if there's background noise, it's actually because my studio workstation where I do the video production, in addition to a lot of the general work for my videos, is grinding away on some additional content that I needed edited in Google Sheets. I got Perplexity doing Google Sheet updates, guys. That's probably a different video, and I clearly can't record a bunch of videos all at the same time. But hey, maybe not the way I'm doing this workflow now, but trust me, there may be some videos similar to this in the future. This, for me, is such a time saver. And this is one of those where I am very bullish on the use of generative artificial intelligence. And this demo that you're watching right now is the reason why. Had I taken the time to actually get in and do the adjustments and write the JavaScript and, update the CSS, no, you know what? I wouldn't have done it. I would have asked some folks at work to help me out. Or of course, I would have actually gone to Perplexity and done it the old fashioned way and just chatted about it with a bunch of screenshots. This right here, this is a web administrator's dream come true. Now, I do want to throw out a disclaimer. So I recently upgraded as part of the Great Inversion to Perplexity Pro for business, I think. It's not enterprise, but it's for business. Anyway, it's the business level tier. So there's the free version, there's Perplexity Pro for the individual user, and then it's the business, not the enterprise, but it's a business version of Perplexity Pro, because I have gotten so much value out of Perplexity. It is really my go-to. I know this is me stating my personal preference and bias and opinion. I really like it. My academic background for my graduate degree was research and writing. I am a research nerd. I do a lot of research, folks. This is what I do. I get to do in my free time now that I have young adult daughters and I can invest doing experimentation and research. So I'm used to academic level citation and being able to trace back sources and be able to put context together. So whatever the synthesis is, I've got a proper orientation and understanding of how the sources relate to the writing. So, for me, it's all about original source. And so that's why I've leaned into Perplexity for going on 3 years now as a paid user, because I have just gotten so much more out of it. And I know, and when I started this, I know at the time, Gemini wasn't nearly as capable. You can see this. This is so fun for me. This really is. I'm sorry. I am rambling. So getting back, when I started using Perplexity Pro, Gemini didn't do citations. Microsoft Copilot certainly didn't. Claude wasn't doing citations. Now, I think we've got parity in the general name brand generative AI ecosystem at this point. So in talking with colleagues at work, they're saying, oh, well, that you can use, Anthropic to do that now, or you can use OpenAI to do that now. And it's like, I get it. I totally get it. In fact, here's the funny thing. So Perplexity is really kind of a wrapper. They've got their own Sonar series models that they've trained, but there are multiple models embedded in the pro version of Perplexity. And of course, there's specific prompting to guide how the models are working. I probably just need to cut a video showing you a new walkthrough of how that looks. Suffices to say, when it comes time to do stuff that is, this is the dull and boring work. I mean, my thought was that this was kind of overkill, and I've used the Perplexity app. I just recently decided to move to the Perplexity browser, mainly because I saw the Perplexity Compute. God, there's a lot of perplexity in all of this. Their compute product. And I'm like, well, I can't afford to spend $200 a month. I mean, there's just no way I can justify this. But as I'm seeing these evolutionary steps that they're going through and all of the capability. And by the way, now you can see that there's this adjustment that's been made here on the right-hand side. And I'm putting in the next prompt. I'm actually putting in the next prompt right here. And of course, now my pointer is, anyway. So I am watching all of this unfold effectively before my eyes. And I'm going, wow, maybe this is a ball peen hammer when I need a ball peen hammer rather than a sledgehammer when I need a sledgehammer. And this comparison to me is a sledgehammer for deep research, ball peen hammer for stuff that's just routine and ordinary and pretty low hanging fruit, easy things for a tool like this to do. It's not, I don't see these as being Swiss Army knives. I see us using these tools appropriately as scalpels and knives. And I'm a tool guy. I've got plenty of tools. I've got a toolkit right below where I'm standing right here. I got tools over to the right-hand side. I'm a tool guy. I like tools. But when it comes to these AI tools, I am trying to figure out what the right use of them is. And so I truly wasn't wanting to go overkill. I was running an experiment like I advocate others to do, like I encourage you to do on your own, because at the beginning and the end of this, we're on this journey. And I got to give props to Network Chuck. So I was watching a video that he dropped just a couple of days ago yesterday. And he was talking about quitting YouTube, and he was really talking about being overwhelmed by AI. And there are days that I too get overwhelmed by generative artificial intelligence and how quickly it's moving. Heck, at this point, I'm very hesitant to use OpenClaw, even in a very constrained environment. And my hesitancy is not due to the negative headlines. My hesitancy is due to my understanding of its capacity to do things that I don't particularly want to give it permission to do. So I approach this with a degree of diligence, a degree of skepticism, but also a degree of enthusiasm and genuine curiosity about what can be done. It's the art of the possible, folks. It's about doing what I did last week and building a web app using a good, well-designed and opinionated framework in BMAD, dropping it into a file, having BMAD spun up, going through all the agentic personalities, answering the questions, getting to the why I wanted to build this. And then at the end of it, within just a handful of hours, maybe 4 hours at the most, having a Supabase backend tied in with the local services for React-based code, serving up this website that is several pages and a lot of functionality with hardly any issues, hardly any changes. Preference around where things are located. God, this is preference around labeling and where things are located on the screen. Minor adjustments, but fully functional. The intent on that thing was just to be a prototype, a working prototype, not even an MVP. But this is better than an MVP. I could fully deploy this to help facilitate conversations the way that this problem was laid out on Vericel, and it probably will end up on Vericel at some point. I've got some conversations I need to have because this is kind of an intellectual property concern that I have. I want to make sure that I'm doing the right thing for the right reason. Suffices to say, what this boils down to is we can point tools like Perplexity at a problem. Again, this is a constrained environment. It could do a lot. Okay. So I don't want to underestimate the power of what it could do. I've got it in WordPress. I don't have it working in my host system files. I don't have it working on my VM. I've got it in WordPress doing these things. And that, I think, is the magic in all of this, which is we can roll a lot of these changes back, and the blast radius is pretty minimal at that. This is a great place for it to operate, to do these quick updates, these changes, to dig around in the files. By the way, I did not, when it came to setting up the security and all this stuff, I was asking it, but I was never going to let it drive to set up my security settings. That's my responsibility. As the site owner, as the administrator, I am responsible for making sure that things are configured correctly. But I was going in hands-on, totally different browser, totally out of that, because I trust but verify. It's walking me through. I'm confirming that I'm completing the steps. It goes in, sees the steps done here in the admin panel in WordPress. It's good. This is kind of paired configuration, paired programming. I'm watching. I'm seeing the evidence. This is like the next level. And I cannot stress it enough. We need to use these tools to solve the right problems. It is an amplifier. It's a scaffold. It's an exoskeleton for your mind. And that's really what this is all about. I am better because now I can concentrate on and focus on generating content like this that's truly useful, showing you what these things are capable of, and then focusing in on the next hairy, nasty, wicked problem that comes to mind. And this is for me, not necessarily for you, but it is just such an amazing time to be alive. This is a golden age for people like me. I'm a creator at heart. Having tools like this that enable me to be more creative fundamentally and get more information out in the hands of people that need it, this is it. This is what I've been waiting for a long time. And I am delighted to be able to share this with you because this really matters. So again, this may be a new series, all part of that Tim Unscripted umbrella. I don't know where this is going to land. I don't think I need to be recording a bunch of videos, doing administrative changes on my websites, but maybe that's the thing. If this video performs well, you subscribe, you share this video with other people, that's a signal and an indicator to me that this is the type of content that you want me to invest in for you to show you how I'm doing it. So to close out, another Tim Unscripted video under some sort of heading that I'm not clear about just yet. It'll land on a playlist, at a minimum, the AI playlist and the Tim Unscripted playlist. But more important, like, subscribe, and share this video. If this brought a spark of inspiration to you, if you think this is cool like I do, I really want to get this type of content out into the hands of more people so that they can do this type of work themselves and see the results. So again, Perplexity Pro, business version, brought to you by Tim Unscripted. Thanks for watching. Talk to you soon.